Welcome to Write Now Workshop Podcast, where you can write a book and change the world. I'm your host, Kitty Bucholtz, and this is episode 276, Values Planning in 2022, an interview with Susan May Warren, coming to you on Thursday, December 2nd, 2021. Welcome to December. Hooray. It snowed December 1st in Malmö, Sweden. I'm so excited. I'm a Michigan girl. I like a white Christmas. I like a relatively white, though safe, driving in snow and slush and sleet and then ice. Like that's not a great combination, but snow on the ground, snow in the air. I'm so happy. So December 1st, we had the earliest snow that we've had in the 4 winters that we've been here. So I was a very, very happy kitty. The air had these beautiful, big, thick flakes. And then, of course, it kind of turned to slushy, snowy, rainy stuff in the air later, but I was really happy. And then when I woke up the next morning, there was more. It was still on the ground. So not a ton, but happy. Now, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, happy summer. I hope you are getting the kind of weather that you like wherever you live. And I hope that it is either encouraging you because you're happy, it's time to write, or I really don't like this weather. So instead of going outside, I'm going to write. You can always think of a reason to make anything into an excuse to just go get a little bit more writing done. So if you did National Novel Writing Month in November, congratulations. I hope that you made at least some of your goals. And if you made all of your goals, super duper congratulations. I made my goal of writing every day for 30 days. Woohoo! And I almost made my goal of finishing the short story that will be the new freebie for my newsletter people. So if you are on my author newsletter list, then look for that in the next couple of months. I'm getting a fabulously awesome cover designed by Paula Rowe. And writing feels really good right now. It's not done, but it feels really good. So I hope your writing feels really good right now. If you happen to be stuck on your book, remember that I'm a writing coach. And in fact, while I'm not a huge fan of Black Friday and the pressure to buy now, you have 17 minutes and 32 seconds left to hit the buy button. That's not really me. So from now until the end of the year, I'm running this special on my coaching services. Remember, it's one-to-one coaching, just you and me. Or if you want to give this to a friend as a gift, you can make a fantastic gift for the person that you know who's been working on this book and just not being able to figure out how to get it done, get it finished. So one-to-one coaching package, the most popular one is $2,500 now through December 31st if you pay by December 31st. And that is for 6 months of coaching. And you can start anytime in 2022. So it's no pressure to if I buy now, I have to start now. It's 6 months and you can even start the 6 months next December if that's the way it works out. It could make an awesome gift for someone that you know. So give me a shout by email if you are interested. We do have just a few weeks left that we could get this planned out for you, but it does give you some time. You don't have only 17 minutes and 32 seconds to make it happen. So send me an email, kitty@kittybucholtz.com, or you can go to my website where it is writenowworkshop.com/writing coach. And near the bottom of that page, there is a fill in your email address and get an appointment with me, and then we can talk. So anything else that I need to tell you? Just that the rates are going up in 2022, which is part of the reason why I wanted to run a discount. So $500 off all of the 2021 prices on all of the packages and start anytime in the new year. I think that is it for my announcements. And since it's December, this is the perfect time to start planning for the new year. I have to say, I usually start thinking about it in October. I still have an entire quarter of the year left. Then by November, I'm like, seriously, what do you want to accomplish next year? If I haven't sat down and started writing things down. And once it's December, I'm like, it's planning time. Let's just forget everything else that we're doing and start planning. So if you're at all like that, today's guest, Susan May Warren, has been here every end of the year on the podcast since the podcast started to talk to us about planning and different ways that we can think about how to best plan our life and our writing, not somebody else's plan, not Kitty's plan, not Susie May's plan, your plan. So Let's talk about planning from the viewpoint of values. What is the most valuable thing in your life? What are the things that you most care about in your life? Susie May is going to tell us how we can then create our goals and our objectives and figure out how to plan out our writing and our life so that the whole thing meshes together and we end up with the most joy. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be the most peace as well. I have not allowed myself to have a very peaceful year. That's on me. But I'm going to make some changes to the way I do my planning. And I think this next year is probably going to be one of the most peaceful and joyful and, dare I say, one of the most productive years that I've had in the 20 some years of writing that I've been doing. So here's hoping that you find the same. Let's listen to Susie May Warren. Today's guest is Susan May Warren. USA Today bestselling Susan May Warren is the multi-award-winning novelist of over 85 novels in 5 different genres. With over 1 million books in print, her books have been translated into French, Dutch, Polish, German, Swedish, Ukrainian, and Italian, and are on bookshelves around the world, as far away as South Africa, Australia, and Russia. She's been featured in Christian Women Today magazine and appeared on The Harvest Show and other national television shows. Susan is also the founder of Novel.Academy, a school for novelists focused on building careers. She loves to coach authors to publication and beyond and seeing their careers flourish. Welcome, Susie May.
Hi, Kitty. So glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
This is so fun. Did you know you are the only person who has been on my show every single year since I started?
Oh, no, that's great.
So yeah, the end of 2021 will be the end of my 4th year, and this will be the 5th time you've been on the show.
Wow, that's so great. Wow, congratulations. 4 years is fantastic. That's awesome. And so pleased to be a part of it. So that's really great.
Thank you. And I have to say, the reason why you're always on the show is because you and I have kind of this simpatico way of thinking. And I love, you're just such a great, encouraging kind of teacher. Oh. And I love the way that you don't have like, this is the Susan May Warren way of doing things. You know, you're like, here are some things, try them, find the one that works for you.
Right, exactly. I would hate for people to be like, oh, I do it Susan May Warren way. I'll be like, oh no, don't do that.
Don't do
You'll
that.
end up with you won't eat. There'll be a messy house. You know, who knows what kind of trouble you get in. I'm kidding. No, I have some tips and tricks that work for me. Pass it along, make them your own.
Awesome. Well, and the exciting thing for me is that you created the planner that I would have created if I had ever thought to myself, well, what if I created a planner that would work for me? But you actually thought, what would I do if I created a planner that would work for me? So my brilliant writing planner is also, let me say, is it in its 4th year? If not, it's in its 3rd year.
I think it's 5th year. Yeah. It's been a good go. The first year we just, like literally, we put it together. Like my assistant made it. I wrote out the pages in the system, and she put it up on PicMonkey. Believe it or not, she made it on PicMonkey, and we put it up on Amazon. And yeah, it was crazy. It was sold like hotcakes. I was shocked. And so then we started to actually develop the elements of the planner and the program and stuff like that. But people had asked me for years, how do you do everything? And so I said, well, this is my program, the plan that I use. And I've been doing it for, 30 years. And so, or 20 years, I guess, no more than that. And so taking that and translating that into actionable steps was, wasn't that hard, but I just had to figure through how to do it. And then of course we made the planners a much bigger deal. And then they've really taken off, which is really great. And I think it's been interesting because everybody will like post how they use the planner, and everybody uses it a little bit differently, but still it has these principles. And we can talk about that sort of connect with everyone in a certain way. And in our very frenetic world, people need to figure out how to do the things that matter to them in a significant way without letting the world, take them apart or distract them and this sort of thing. And that is really what our planner is. One of the features of our planner is our system, I should say, is to help you focus well, because creatives, it's really a planner, not just for writers, but for creatives, and creatives need to know and to practice focus if we're going to do something well. And so that's what we talk about. And that's kind of what our whole planner is about.
Yeah. And I have to say, I am definitely one of those people who at first, I was trying to figure out, what's the Susan May Warren way of using this? And then I was like, this isn't really working for me. And I'm sure this is probably not what she meant me to just follow. I mean, it's nice to watch because you give a whole video course that comes with the planner, like has a login. So you just sign in and you explain how you created it, how you use it. But then like, there's all this freedom to figure out what I need to do with it. Well, because of my brilliant writing planner, I have not killed a plant in 2 years because water your plants is one of my activities that I mark off which day I watered my plants.
Wow, that is a great testimony. I love that. I think I have to make a little meme about that and put it up. Don't kill your plants, get the planner.
Yeah.
That's really great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your plants thank me, and I appreciate that. So
yes, they're much happier now.
Yeah.
Well, listen, there are so many things to talk about this planner. I love it for so many reasons, including, like we were just talking before we hit the record button, that even during weeks where maybe you're on vacation or you have something else, I've had a lot of really long online conferences, like 3 and 4 day online conferences. And so I'm not really using the planner during those days. But then I'm like, oh, I have blank space. So like I filled out like what's going to be my podcasting schedule for the rest of the year, and I need to get my sales tax reporting done for this quarter. So it's kind of great. I don't have to be like, where's the piece of paper where I wrote everything down somewhere on my desk?
Right. I feel like my planner is my second brain because I have everything in my planner. So this is this year's planner. But like you said, there's like spaces in the planner. So what we did is we created spaces in the planner where you could write extra things down if you needed to, like a notes page almost. So like I was showing earlier, this is my planner. This is my remodel layout that I was doing, but I wrote that in the notes page of July, and I got a little paper clip there and I know, okay, it's there. And so I don't have to have like 80 notebooks and pieces of paper. I just put it in my planner in the different, blank pages. And there's even notes pages in the back so that I keep like, this is I plotted out this is my writing plan for the next 5 years. And so I was taking notes and, and these are all my titles and stuff, so it's like it's like I don't have to search. And I mean, you could do this with any notebook, but the planner is nice because you can be like, oh yeah, I remember thinking about that during that time. And here's where the notes are and stuff. Otherwise it can get lost in it. I have big notebooks and things get lost in there. And so anyway, so the planner is really made for a creative mind, for someone who's got lots of things happening and needs to put it down someplace where they don't lose it. And then organize it in a way that, I'm keeping track of things. So our planner really helps with that portion as well. So I really love that. So, yeah.
One of the other things I love about, so there's a couple of things. I am a sucker for gamification. So on the day that you and I happen to be talking, it's November 8th, my time. I think it's November 8th, your time. And I have logged into Nano every single day. I've gotten the maximum number of badges that you can get, by logging in the first week. Now, historically, I get a lot fewer badges from here on because the most number of badges is in the first 7 days. But you have these great places for stickers. Like give yourself a sticker if you've completed this week. And this year, one of the things, I love the idea of being an artsy person, but my art is pretty much in words, speaking and writing. And so there's all this like beautiful space. Susie and I are both holding up different pieces of journal. If you're listening on audio only, you might want to go and see what things look like on the video. But there's all these beautiful places where you can just doodle and color things in and do things with different colored markers. And I'm like, I want to do that. But I feel like that's just taking up time that I could be working or writing or something.
When you do it, Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just excited because this year you have a color interior option. So if you're very doodly, you can be like, oh, great, I'm going to color in my own and it'll make me feel like I had this kind of a relaxation time or rest time. But if you're like, I want it to be in color, but I don't want to color it, then ta-da!
Yeah, that is true. The color there, that's been a really popular seller too. People are loving because one of the reasons that they love it is, I was just trying to figure out how I'm going to talk about this, but we have values at the beginning that you figure out what your values are. And we'll talk a little bit about how the planner is set up in a second. But then all of the values, so they're all color coordinated, and then they correspond to the same color in the weeks. And so let's say your value is, let's say it's friends and family, right? So that's a blue, right, column. And so then on the weekly plan, you've got a blue column where you can actually write in the things you're going to do with friends and family or whatever. So it's like all of the things correspond. And so that's good. So let's talk a little bit about how the planner is set up so that people can kind of understand what we're talking about. So the planner, I've been doing my plan this way for, like you said, like about 20 years. And I realized a couple of things. One is that I'm not ADHD, but I do need help focusing because there's so much going on. And I realized I am not a multitasker. I let things fall when I multitask. What I need to do is be a multifocuser. And so being a multifocuser means that I have to focus on certain things at certain times, but I still have a lot going on. And so I don't want it to fall through, right? So for me, having that setup where I'm like, okay, Susie, you're going to be focused on this at this time and this at this time has really helped me. And so I did discover that it's also sort of a way that people with ADHD or focus issues plan their lives as well. And so what they do is they just plan blocks of time to focus. And that's really kind of how our planner came about, was that I was really into saying, okay, I'm going to focus on this at this block of time and this at this block of time and, whatever. So I would get it all done. And if I needed to, I could move blocks around. So let's say I had an interruption, I could take that, that free block and move it here and take that marketing block and move it over there. And it really worked for my life. And so I was still able to get everything done, but I would also allow for trends and flows and things like that in my very busy life. And so that's really how it started. And then it moved to, well, how do I figure out what kind of blocks am I going to have for my time, right? So I started out with things that create joy, but then I realized, and that was kind of the way I did it for a number of years. And then I realized, well, not everything that creates joy is things that I value, right? So like, does it really create joy to go out for a run, to lift weights? In theory, maybe, but really it connects more with my values, right? So my value is to be healthy and strong, right? And so it doesn't necessarily create joy. It does, but not really. So the key there is, so then that's when we started making our switch from joy-based planning to value-based planning. And that's really where we saw people really connect with it. Because what happens is that we all have our own values. And I'm not talking about like values derived from, our faith or this sort of thing. I'm talking about values that are personal to you, that are derived out of your personality, your lifestyle, your family, your, all these kind of things, and figuring out what those values are, and then planning your life and your activities around the things that you care about. And so now you're doing activities that connect deeply to your values and who you are. And now your focus blocks are values-based focus blocks. And, business and achieving, or should I say achieving, being the writer and the entrepreneur that you want to be is a value. You want to provide for your family, you want to provide for you, you want to make an impact in the world, whatever it is. So marketing is something that it comes out of that value. It doesn't give you joy necessarily, but it does spring from that value. And so even while you're doing your marketing, you can go, this is something that is connected to my values. So it is valuable time, right? So that really changed things for me, because I was like, okay, everything I do has a purpose. And we'll talk about sacred rest in a second, because that's something we talked about too. But, even things that are like fun things, play things, can be outspring of our values, right? And so for people like me, who's like, everything needs to have a reason, I could be like, no, this fun playtime here is the outspring of, of my family time or my sacred rest or whatever. We'll talk about that in a sec. But anyway, that's kind of how I started to do it. And for me, that changed everything, because I knew that at the end of the day, something happened. Tomorrow I walked out the door and I was run over by an elephant. I would have said, I live my life according to my values. there's nothing left undone. I'm not, like trying to get to here to achieve something. I mean, yes, I have some goals, but if I haven't met that goal, I've lived my values along the way, and that's good. And I can lay my head on the pillow at night and go, I did what I could today to be in line with my values. And I think that's, and everybody gets their values from different places, but wherever it is that you get it, you can be at peace sort of with yourself. Right. And I think that's the key. So anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's gotten more important to me. Pretty much anybody who's listened to more than 3 or 4 episodes of this show knows that I really struggled with burnout. Actually, it was probably starting even before I started the podcast, but I didn't fully understand what was happening to my body and my mind and stuff until about probably 6 or 7 months into the podcast. And then I didn't know what to do. So I was occasionally podcasting about it because the only thing that I knew for sure was that I wanted to help other people not get to where I was, because I didn't know how to get out. But one of the things that is become even more important to me, and I've just spent a year and a half with a big business coaching program. You really working hard to physically create a business that creates both value for others and value for me, meaning, paying my bills and supporting the family and that sort of thing. But what was missing for me in all of that work was that there wasn't enough balance. And I found myself falling back into burnout again. And I was like, okay, this is not working for me. And one of the things that I began to finally realize was, and I'm not sure how it fits in your system, but I'm like, it is a value to me that I now recognize is, if my life ends tomorrow or whatever, this is not the way that I think that I was designed by my creator to live, to be so stressed out and upset about not getting, the 4,200 things on my to-do list done. I'm like, this isn't even the way that I think people probably lived before technology and stuff began. I mean, people had a different hard kind of life, but I know that the way that I'm living my life right now is not the way that I think that our bodies, minds, and spirits were designed to be. And I really feel like your planner helps me to remember that these other things, somehow I need to put something in these colored spots that help me move towards this other place I want to be. So
yeah. And teach you that there's things that you'll need to say no to, but saying no to them means yes to you and your values. Right. And that's been really freeing as well, because I can go, oh, that doesn't fit my value. I'm sorry. That's not going to work for me. It's like, that was easier for me to say than, sure, I want to help you, but actually it doesn't fit this over here. So, and I've actually said to people, I'm sorry, that's not a good fit for me, or, it doesn't work for me or whatever. And that way it's not like about them, it's about me and saying, it's not a good fit or whatever. And so and then I'm more true to myself too, about how the activities that I'm doing, and I don't feel resentful about, how did I get roped into this, or whatever, or I'm doing all of these things, and so that's helpful. I wanted to show, so this is my planner from this year. And so we have actually a values-based planning section. So you can kind of figure out, we ask a number of questions because a lot of people don't know what their values are. They think, well, I value family. And then we're like, well, do you? Because here's, you might say that, but here are your activities. And so we look at it both ways, and we say, well, what are your current activities and what values do they represent? And now let's look at your values. What would your day look like and your life look like if you lived by your values? And so we kind of go that way so people can actually see like a before and after, of what it would look like. And then from there, we go on to actually prioritizing your values. And so we actually have like a section where you can like prioritize your major values for your life. And then from there, we say, okay, what shall we do, in terms of our values? And so then we have like sections where you can figure out what it is that what your priorities are going to be based on that particular value. So I really love that. But one of the things that we talk about in terms of that, Kitty, getting to what you were saying, is that we have something called sacred rest. So let's just talk about sacred rest for a second, because I think what happens is entrepreneurs, or any sort of preneur out there, we get so focused on growing our business that we don't even see that we're burning out. We're like running the road and we're like, just one more thing. Oh, when I do that one more thing and one more thing. And what happens is that we do become terribly unbalanced because we are doing all of these things over here. And so there's a great book out there. It's called Sacred Rest. And we as a group read that. And then we took some principles from it, used our own principles and developed our own sort of teaching on it. But the idea is that we need to replenish our bodies and our minds and our souls in different ways, that when we focus on something here, we're missing out over here. So sacred rest isn't just like I'm going to church and reading my Bible. Sacred means set apart rest, right? So, and rest doesn't mean laying on the sofa. Rest means rest away from this activity, right? So I'm spending so much time doing all of my business that I'm not eating right. I'm not taking time out for good meals. I'm not spending time with family. I'm not reading entertainment books. I'm reading only business books. I'm listening to podcasts for business, not for fun, or whatever. Yeah. And what happens is that we take a look at, we have a sacred rest assessment that you can take. And I encourage people to take it, like once a quarter, just to take a look at what their life is like. Because then you can look and say, oh, look, I'm really deficient in this area here. How do I get myself back into it? So again, going back to that set apart rest, in our values, we say, like, one of my values is health. One of my values is family and friends. And so, that's, you wouldn't normally put family and friends as a value, but I do. And so now I have a standing date twice a week. And once with some very, very dear friends of ours. And one is a free night that I then mark off. And this is where we plug in all the other friends that we have that we want to spend time with. I also have a free night for my husband so that we spend time together. So because so those are set apart nights, and I can't schedule anything in there because that's part of my sacred rest, right? And so same thing with exercise. I actually write that in, or meal planning, or whatever it is, right? So because we have to recognize that if we go over here, we're going to be way out of balance. And then all of these other areas that are very valuable to us will suffer. So that's another reason why we have, so the kind of the cool thing is that we have our values, and, we have a whole program, but the neat part is that, here's kind of an example. So up on the top of this is our daily spread, your values go up here, your activities go down here. So every week you're taking a look at your values and you're like, okay, where am I at? How am I balanced? And where am I going to then plug it into those focused areas of work? And that's how you sort of take your values, you spread them out, over your week, and then you get your balance in during your week or your month or whatever, however you do it. So anyway, so that's kind of how I've worked on the remedy for burnout, is to make sure I have the balance on the other side.
Okay. Can I just tell you how excited I am to be getting a pre-colored planner this year? Because even though I watch your, videos on, reminders, this is how we use the system, or this is how the system can be used for you. I, somewhere along the way, thought, oh, yeah, this is the list of where I put the things that have to be done today. I was not using it as any kind of values-based anything, except for get it done.
Yeah, I what happens is we do, that's very, very, it's very common. So here's what my suggestion is. So there's this, and this is a small version of our planner. It's like a novel size, but in the top, it's easier to see. You have priorities 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. And I suggest those are the things that absolutely have to get done today. And they don't have to be done first. They just have to be done sometime today. And then below that, we have like we have like a morning section, an afternoon section, or an evening, or you could do morning 1, morning 2, afternoon, or morning, afternoon 1, afternoon 2, whatever you want to do, right? And these are the things that you're going to focus on. And you might focus on many things during that time. But my point is that you might get those done throughout the day. But I always think if we do more than 3 things a day, we've lost track of what we're doing. Because when I say more than 3 things, I mean more than 3 priorities, right? So like you have 3 things where you're like, what did you get done today? Oh, I did this, this, and this, right? These are your 3 priorities. If you have 7 things, that's fine. But we get overwhelmed with more than 3. But 3 we could do, And so I always try to say, okay, I'm only doing 3 priorities today. I might do more, but they're not as priorities, right? 3 priorities, bam, done. I feel good about my life. And now I don't have to be ruled by a list. I'm just like, I just have these 3 things that I can, and sometimes I get them done right away. Maybe there's even like a hard phone call or something, whatever it is. But so we're not ruled by our to-do list. We do have priorities, but we aren't like, oh, I know these people that, and I do this too. I have like this like sort of list of things that I need to get done, right? Like I make like a little list and stuff. But this is more like a running list of stuff. And I pull from this list to put in my planner, because if I lived by this, I would never get anything done. I mean, if you look at it, it's got tons and tons and tons and tons of lists on it. So like, and they're all dated, and I get, I have a lot of check marks, but still, I can't imagine living by this, because I would just be constantly, well, I didn't get that done. Didn't get that done.
That's how I feel every day.
Yeah. Okay. So having a running list is fine, because you can pull from that, but don't live by that. Throw that out. No, I mean, or put it on the side. This is not your life goal list.
Yeah. I love that you have it in a completely different place. It's not in your planner.
This is just a notebook that I keep, and I date it. I kind of date the top and stuff like that. But I that way I can sort of go through and say, okay, what is it that I'm getting done for this week? This was my list from my wedding reception I had put on. So, it's like, you get stuff done, but they're not going to be things that are going to go in my planner, because I'm not going to clutter my planner with 1,000 things that make me feel like I failed.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull 3 things. I'm going to put them in there. I'm going to get them done. I'm going to mark them off here. And then I'm going to not look at that list again.
So for instance, in your 3 blocks on, at least one of the days, there was probably a 2-hour block that was work on wedding reception. And then you just went to your other lists?
Yeah. So right. That's exactly it. So I have a block that might say work on wedding reception, and I'll say see list. And so then I'll go to my wedding reception list. This is the layout. And so then I figured out what I needed to make, or whatever. And so I have a wedding, so then I would have this wedding reception list of what I need to do. And then I just work off this list, and then I'm done for the hour or the block, and I go back. And then it doesn't cumber up my book, but I still was able to focus on that stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And we actually have project sheets in there for people that want to do, like, you can download it from our site. For people that purchase the planner, they get access to the insider stuff. And so we have a project sheet, and on your project sheet this is my project, and these are all the tasks associated with my project. Right. And so then you can just go down and you can work on the tasks as you go, but it doesn't have to clutter up your planner.
Right.
Because in your planner it just has the do task.
Right. So for instance, I'm rebranding all of my books to fit into the sweet/clean and wholesome category, which honestly was like 10 swear words in one book and 19 in another. I'm okay. I was a little bit sad about taking out the very like sexy, sweet, funny love scene between the newlyweds, but I was like, oh, I can use it as one of my like newsletter freebies. This is the way I wrote the scene, But because for marketing reasons, I was like, okay, it's going to be way easier to market this book as, definitely this or definitely this, but to be somewhere in the middle is not a good place. So I can put book rebranding in a 2-hour block, or 2 or 3 2-hour blocks throughout the week, and just go to my project list and go, okay, I still need to do the print copy of this book, the ebook of everything is ready for this book, but the cover I'm still waiting for, and just manage it. I love this. Okay. I'm seeing you nodding your head. I'm like, this is good.
This is your task list. This is your ongoing task list, but you don't want to put your ongoing task list in your planner, because it's going to clutter. You don't need it there. You just need your planners to organize what your time is going to be, right? Yeah. And that's that, and so now what's going to happen is that you have your task list, and you can I make little boxes with check marks. But like I said, like exactly like you said, rebrand books, 2 hours. Okay, now you're going to go to the task list. I'm going to do these 3 things. And the task list isn't going to be, you're not going to do it you're not going to make a new task list every time you have to go to the task list. You have your task list. You just, so anyway, so when you have a project, make a big task list, but then you schedule it in your planner.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to do it all at once either. It's like writing a book. You just write this chapter.
Right. Write 42,000 more words on this book. Oh, Yeah.
Exactly.
And it seems like it would help your mind to, how do I want to say this? Like, it seems like it would help unclutter your mind. And like one of the things I was telling myself this last week, I'm like, Kitty, you've just got to find a way to accept that all the things that you want to do, you're not going to do them. You're not going to do them all before you die. And the longer that you live, the more things that you want to do. So you're definitely not going to get everything done. And I just have to choose to find places to be okay with that. And I can't seem to find like, these are the things I'm going to drop off my list. But every once in a while, and this might be kind of sad, but every once in a while, I'll go through a pile of paper and find a task list from like 2 years ago. It's really long, not a ton of stuff crossed off. And I'm like, oh, and I've been keeping this because I'm like, this is a list of all the things I still haven't gotten done. All these many, many sticky notes and pieces of paper. But then so often I look at them and I'm like, well, 7 of these things actually don't have to be done anymore. Like, I can't remember exactly why now, but I'm like, oh, I think maybe this is how God's like helping me to see, like, it's going to turn out okay, Kitty. Trust me.
Absolutely. In fact, I want to encourage you with a couple of things. One is get a notebook to keep all your stuff, all your task lists. Like, this is a really helpful one. And then what you can do, and I have them by category, so that like when I go, like here's Susan May Warren Fiction, right? So when I have my Susan May Warren Fiction day, I've got accounting, check on the planner, whatever it is, right? Invoice this person, whatever. So I've got these little tasks, right? And so I can check them off by, so when I have my task for that, Susan May Warren Fiction account admin, I'm like, okay, I'll go list this. But here's what you can do is that I go through this list then every week and I'm like, I don't need to do that anymore. I don't even do that anymore. And pretty soon the whole list is gone and then I turn the page, right? And so it really does help. It's almost like when we go to our closets in the fall and we go, not that one, not that one. I haven't worn that for 2 years. I'm done. And then you package it up and give it away, because now you can call out things that don't matter anymore. And I would encourage you to do that on a more frequent basis because you'll feel lighter, because you'll be like, okay, I evaluated, that's not a good fit for me. Off it goes. I don't have to do those things. Off it goes. So it's kind of that same, can I give it to somebody else to do? Do I need to do it, at all? And if I need to do it, how much time will it take? Do I need to set aside, time? And then if you need to redo it, just move it to the current task list and then just be done with that page.
Yeah. So I like this. This sounds like a way to feel a lot more free, relaxed, peaceful, and quite possibly more productive.
Yeah, because now you're focused on the things that really need to get done and you don't have to worry about, and sometimes I'll go back through the pages and I'll be like, when I get to the place where I'm nearly done with something, I'll like highlight it and see if I can find one, but I'll like highlight a page and be like, okay, you really need to make sure you get this done. And now that it's highlighted, I'll say, okay, got to get that done. But now, like here, this was from May, but like it's all done. This one wasn't done. So I just put a little marker on it and said, okay, this is going to carry over to the next list, but this list is all done.
Yeah.
And then it just carries over. So it just helps with organizing all of the things, but not feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah. I love this. Okay. Now, you have so many fantastic tools that you've developed over several years. And I'm going to ask you to give us kind of a brief, these are all the other planner and planner-like things that are available this year. But also then I don't want to forget to have you talk about what's in the very back of every single planner for the novelist.
Yes. Yeah, let's actually talk about that first, because I feel like that's something that's unique to our planner that a lot of people don't get. So because we are creative focused, but we're also author focused, right? And especially novelist focused, because we're all novelists around here. And so one thing that's really special about our planners is that in the back of our planner, so this is one from a couple of years ago. So we have what's called the story crafting section. And if anyone has taken any of my classes, they know that I have a system called the story equation. So just like there's a plan for the planner and getting your stuff done, there's a plan for a story. And stories can feel very cumbersome to people or very overwhelming, like a crazy, octopus, until you sort of tame all the pieces. And so this helps you tame all the pieces and find all the pieces so that your stories have depth to them. And so and we do have classes, and this, I think this book is like $5 on Kindle. I can't remember, but anyway, it's pretty cheap. But then what happens is that we have this plan. This is called the story equation. And so this is our sort of diagram. We have one of these. Actually, we have 4 of these in every planner. So here's your main character. Here's your second main character. And then we have 2 more for subplot characters, or another book if you want. And then we also have what I call the plotting roadmap. And so this is our plotting roadmap, and it kind of helps you put your story together. And then we also have a notes page. And so that's where I keep all my notes. And so I really love it because my stories are right here. I can just grab it and look at it. Of course, I have other tools that I use as well. I actually have this in a separate document so I can print it off and redo it. So I have it, I have this document that's a separate document for another story. But the idea is that as you are living your life and thinking about things and thinking about your story, you open up your planner and you write it right in there in the back. And you're like, oh, I didn't lose that story note. I've got it right there. And for me, who has many things going on in her head, I need a place to park things that I'm not going to lose it. I don't know about you.
Yes.
As I get older, I'm like, where did I put that? Well, I can't remember, and instead of searching everywhere, I only have to search my planner because I know it's in there. And so that just having that practice has been really helpful. But yes, we have these 2, you can write 2 stories or one big, huge story in the back of every planner. And I say, I mean, plan. So I really love that. As far as other features go, we have a couple of things. We have one of the things I really love is our monthly evaluation. So at the end of every month, you have a chance to kind of go through your thoughts about, what your highs, your lows, what you'd like to do differently, some goals for next month, things like that. Books you've read. Well, that was a big thing for me. I was never writing down the books I read for enjoyment, which is part of my sacred rest. And so writing that down was important to me because I wanted to see what I'd read for that year or podcast I'd listened to or whatever. The other thing is that we have a yearly review, which is really a nice thing to do to think about the next year. And then, of course, we have, little trackers and things like that to help you, habit trackers and different things to help help you remember to water your plants and this sort of thing. So, and we even have a food journal, and I use my food journal as a what did I eat, not a plan. But just I like to write down what I ate every day. I don't know what my problem is. I just do. And so anyway, just like things like that help you figure out. And then one thing I really love about our planner, the last little thing is we have something called today's wins at the bottom of your planner. So at the end of the day, you can say, what did I do today that I loved? And you write down your win for that day. I had a hard conversation. I focused, I wrote 3,500 words. I, finished this project. I went for a walk, whatever it is, the win that you have. And so that you have wins every single night. And I think that's really important because a lot of times my husband will say, well, what was your win today? And he'll tell me his and I'll tell him. And it'll be kind of a fun way to connect. So anyway, so that's some of the fun things about it. But people can go to mybrilliantwritingplanner.com and they can look at all of the stuff. There's a tutorial on there, and these are all, all the pages. You can look at all the pages. You can look at all of this year we have 6 different covers and 4 different sizes and a black or white or a color interior. We are working on the PDF. I don't know if it's ready yet, but anyway, we're all sorts of options. We have them we have the cover for this year. I think I showed it. I can't remember, but anyway, this is the cover for this year, which I really love. It's got this light bulb on it. We get original art from Mary DeMuth, which I really love, but we also have other covers for people that don't love this. We even have a color for guys. It's just a real plain blue cover, and the insides are brown and blue, so it's not like it's
pink and
really
yellow and
pink and yellow. Yeah. So anyway, and we took out some design and stuff on the inside, and that one doesn't have much. It's just really basic, and stuff. So if you have a guy that's a creative that wants a planner, this is kind of a good way to do it too. So anyway, so they can go there, they can look at everything, they can see how it works, and so mybrilliantwritingplanner.com, or you can go to novel.academy, and that has links there, but also that's where we have our courses. And our membership. So we have a monthly membership where we have teaching every Thursday night, and we have critique groups and all sorts of great fun stuff. So anyway, Wonderful. That's where they can hang out.
Fantastic. And I don't know if this is new this year. I just don't happen to remember it last year. You also have 2 undated planners.
Oh yeah, yeah, we do. And so the undated planners are fantastic, especially for people. We have a 3 month, a 6 month, and a 9 months. I think. I mean, we might even have a 12 month. I can't remember, but it's great for people who are like, I just want to plan, this particular season of my life. I don't want to have to plan everything. So then you just get like the 6 month planner, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to do that, or the 3 month planner, I'm just going to do that, and that does help people to be like, I'm just planning my summer, I'm just planning this quarter, or I'm just planning from now until June or whatever. And that, and there's a lot of people that like to do that. So
Yeah.
we do have that.
And I have to say, when I saw that, I was like, I'm going to try one more year to see, like, basically, because I don't know, this is just the way I think. I'm like, I'm gonna try one more year to really use the planner in the way that I think would be most helpful. And honestly, I think the fact that I'm buying the one that's pre-color coded is going to be a huge change for me. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
So
you're not the only one who wants that. That's been a really popular seller, because then people think, okay, I don't have to think about what value goes here. This is the one.
Right. Yeah. I figured it out in January or December or whenever. And now I can just be like, right, okay, the blue one. I haven't done like a blue value, for a while, and I need to make sure I do it this week. Yeah. I'm excited about that. So I think I'm probably going to end up using it even more now. But like just looking at this last year, there was just some really busy periods of time where I was just kind of running from one thing to the next all day, every day for a few weeks. And I was thinking, if I continue to have 3 months or 6 months of the planner being blank pages, which are great for notes and planning other parts of my life, then I might do the undated one, because then if I'm like we get 3 weeks off in the summer here in Sweden, which is shocking and awesome, and I'm actually getting really used to it. So automatically there's 3 weeks of blank pages, because it's only like 3 pages per week or whatever. But yeah, I plan on, my plan is to literally not work. So I literally put X's through so I can tell myself, don't plan for this, because you're supposed to be having rest.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Well, and what you could do, and this is just the last little bit, is that this is my favorite part. So this is the inspirations page. So this is my inspirations page. And so as you can see, every day I spend, well, of course, I spend an hour with the Lord every morning. But for me, having these thoughts, in my planner, and then having a little, I down here, I keep like a little journal of what's happening. These are my prayer requests, and these are like random notes. And what happens is I can look back and go, oh, this is what was happening in my life. So even if you don't plan, having this, and so every week comes with an inspiration section, and then you turn the page, and then it's your planning section. And so basically you start your every morning here, and then you turn the page and you go, okay, what's happening? For me, that keeps me centered. And more often than not, even if I don't have the week planned, I've got, this is another page. I've got my soaking time done. And I know I soaked, I've done I've done the work of connecting to me, to my Lord, to to that my values, these sorts of things. Now I'm going to proceed into my day. So I guess for me, that's the coolest part of the planner, is capturing my thoughts and on some place where I can go back and see them. So anyway,
nice.
So even if you don't plan and you're on undated planner, you can write in there during your vacation times, and it will still be.
That's nice, because, there are a lot of times some of the best thoughts come to you when you're rested.
Right. Yep. So yeah, you definitely, I think having an undated planner would be nice too, for like, if you were going on a vacation, or if you wanted to spend like the summer not working, but you still wanted to keep your thoughts. And then I have friends that journal in fact, they don't plan. They take the daily sections and they journal what they did that day as an afterthought of what they did. And that way they can see what they did. So, it's like you can use it any way you want. The idea is your life matters. So take the time to think through how you want to live it, either before or after or in the midst of it, and live your life focused on your values and why you're here. What is your particular impact in this world? And when you do that, then every day matters, and you can live your life the way that you're supposed to live your life, or the way that the Lord intended for you.
I love that. Wow. I just want to take that little section out and just post it on my website so everybody can listen to it every day. Oh, Susie Mate, tell us again, where can people find you, the planner? You write really, really interesting, fun books. I love your books. There are a lot of romantic suspense that I've read, and also the story equation, which is in print and ebook form for anybody who's interested in how how to plot and write a brilliant story from one powerful question.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So people can go to novel.academy.com or mybrilliantwritingplanner.com, or they can go to SusanMayWarren.com and find all sorts of resources and stuff there and all the books there. And then I also have a pen name David James Warren, which is writing a series right now. The last book releases in a couple of weeks called Rembrandt Stone, and then go to rembrandtstone.com. So all of those are fun places to hang out. And of course, I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all the other places. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy. Sorry, that's me. I'm dizzy. It's wonderful that you can be like, I have a very busy life, but I was able to plan this. So thank you for taking the time and making the plan and sharing so much with us today.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. It was really great. I always love talking to you. You're a priority to me. So it's always really fun to hang out. And, we actually talk a lot offline too. So it's really fun to connect. And yeah, no, that's great. So thanks for having me here. And to everybody that's out there, your life matters. Your story matters, the one you're living and the one you're writing. So go make it brilliant.